Hi, this is Stephen from Owner Disso. By now I am sure you have heard of AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution, or FSR. It is an upscaling technique that is open source and works on a bunch of older GPUs, including those from Nvidia, so I wanted to see how it gets on with my GTX 1060 laptop, the Aorus X3 V7. Now this is about 4 years old, and in those days 4-core CPUs were the best you could get in a laptop, so it has an i7 7820HK and 16GB of RAM in dual channel. Now first, a word from our sponsor, CDK Deals. CDK Deals sells discounted PC game keys, iTunes and PlayStation gift cards, as well as super cheap Microsoft Office and OEM Windows 10 keys. Now some of you may be suspicious of the validity of these keys, which I do understand, so I did buy a Windows 10 Pro key myself, and I typed in SLMGR/DLV via the command prompt, and the key had a rearm amount of 1001, which supports what CDK Deals told me, that their Windows keys are OEM keys and not volume licensing keys. I have also received feedback from several other people saying that they have bought keys from them in the past and all has been good. Now purchasing is easy. You click on the links in the description and enter the code OWD25 for 25% off. And you can have Windows 10 Pro for only $16, or if you wish, combine it with Office 2019 for only $53. Activate the key either during the Windows installation or within the activation settings once you boot up. Welcome back. So FSR upscaling is supposed to make a game look like it's being rendered at a higher resolution than what it really is. Here's a chart showing the scale factor for each of the 4 FSR quality settings. So for example, at 1920 by 1080 using the quality FSR setting, the image is actually rendered at 1280 by 720. And then a couple of sharpening passes are used to make the image look better and fill in the missing pixels. Nvidia's DLSS uses AI and requires a 2000 or 3000 series GPU. So the big advantage for FSR is that it can take just a couple of hours for a developer to implement it, and it is available on a wider range of GPUs. Even a modder was able to implement it into Grand Theft Auto 5. Where do I see this being useful? It should allow your older laptop to be able to play more demanding games without lowering your quality settings. Also, if your laptop has a QHD or a 4K display, then there is no need to change your panel resolution to ensure optimum performance when, say, playing at 1080p. Plus also, it should help keep the VRAM usage lower, as FSR automatically downscales the resolution. But this is only useful if the image quality is no worse than if you would just say to lower the quality setting or to just lower the resolution yourself anyway. Now the games currently supported are generally in beta or at least 1 year old, although there are quite a few being supported in the future. If FSR is so easy to implement, I am disappointed at this short list of games. I would have liked to have seen something like perhaps Cyberpunk to see how it compares with DLSS. So I ended up buying Terminator Resistance to test. First, let's take a look at what performance gains we get with FSR. I tested at 1920 by 1080 and 3440 by 1440. Now at the top is no FSR. At 1080p I used epic settings, and at 3440 by 1440 I used high settings. The GTX 1060 at the high resolution is borderline playable at 30 FPS, so it's at these high resolutions we are going to see the most benefit. Even using FSR set at ultra quality, we see a 63% improvement in frame rate at WQHD and 32% at 1080p, since the CPU starts to become more of a limiting factor as the resolution is lowered. Using FSR performance, we see 193% and 94% improvement in frame rate respectively, so on paper it does look like a great deal. Let's compare medium settings at 3440 by 1440 with no FSR against high settings and FSR ultra quality. Now performance is similar, only 9% separating them in favour of FSR, and that is rendering 40% less pixels, but at a higher quality setting. In moving action, I don't see that much difference, to be fair, although I do think the native 3440 by 1440 image is slightly sharper, and I think this is more noticeable in a still shot where the rocks and the tyre do seem sharper on the right. So just reducing the quality setting a notch does look like a slightly better option to me. You get slightly better visuals with similar frame rates. If you find that you do need to lower things further, perhaps you can lower the FSR quality a bit. Here we have ultra quality on the left and quality FSR on the right. And in practice, it's not so easy to spot much difference, but again, with a still shot you start seeing a little bit of softening on the grass. Now, dropping FSR to performance sees even more softening of the image and less detail. I would favour lowering quality settings slightly over using FSR at the balanced or performance setting. Although, as you will see shortly, FSR has the advantage if you choose no FSR and low settings. Let's face it, most gaming laptops still have a 1920 by 1080 display, so if your GTX 1060 is struggling to give good frame rates, you will likely drop quality settings. Here, I compare low settings with no FSR against FSR balanced and performance. Low settings has the same 1% low frame rate, and the average frame rate splits the two FSR presets. In this game, I have 1920 by 1080, no FSR, but low settings on the left, and on the right we got epic settings with FSR set to balanced. When you use low settings, you may still have a sharper image because of the more pixels, but you do lose shadow and lighting effects. So in this case, lowering settings to the minimum is inferior to using FSR even at balanced. In a still shot, you can hardly see the truck or the rocks next to it. Now another option for you is to keep the same quality setting but lower that resolution yourself. So switching to 1600 by 900 using epic settings versus FSR at the highest ultra quality preset, which is rendered at the lower 1477 by 831 resolution and then sharpened, we see this the frame rate being pretty much the same. Now I think for those with a keen eye, you can spot a slight softening of the image when using FSR, but it really takes looking at a still image for me to spot it. So how would I sum up AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution for prolonging the gaming life of a laptop with an older GPU? I think if you can get by with dialing down the settings a notch, either quality or the resolution, then that is the way to go. You do get a slightly sharp image and you do get more details. But if you need to drop resolution or quality settings all the way down to say the minimum to get a decent frame rate, then I think FSR is a better option, as you maintain all of the quality lighting and textures associated with a higher quality setting, and the sharpening does do a decent job of upscaling that image. Now kudos to AMD for making this work on older Nvidia GPUs, as it should help your laptop game for an extra 1 or 2 more years. Thank you for watching. If you found my video of value, consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.